Welcome everyone, welcome to a new update, and today we're going to discuss whether or not you should be selling your altcoins for Bitcoin. And if you do well, if you want to help me out to become verified on YouTube and hit that 100k subscribers today before 6 p.m. Central European Time, we're going to host an additional live stream in which I'll be answering all your questions, every topic that's important right now, especially the one that I'm going to discuss today. I'll be answering all the questions on that topic. So subscribe beneath, also like this update and comment if you want to see some special content. So the primarily question before I'm hopping back to the charts is that we have got that crash last week, and since the crash the Bitcoin dominance went up, and all of a sudden also because of panic, people started to discuss or argue that they wanted to sell their altcoins for Bitcoin because of the dominance chart going up. But you should be aware that once everybody's going to discuss such a topic, it's actually already too late to make that decision. So going back to what happened, on Wednesday the crash occurred, altcoins went down as well, altcoins bounced up, but since then the blood on altcoins was way more than we used to be having because of that central topic that came out all of a sudden. So if you see such a crash and everything is on the rock bottom, altcoins are down 60 to 80%, why should you be switching from altcoins to Bitcoin after such a crash? You're already down 70%. You want to swap to Bitcoin, and then when everything bounces up, Bitcoin is the lowest one that's going to bounce up. So you need way more time to actually get back to break even, which sounds very silly to do. And I get it. I mean, I've lost paper money as well, or like I have a paper loss as well in the last week, as I didn't expect such a crash to happen on some of my positions. But did something change fundamentally on the markets? No. Bitcoin USDT crashed. Altcoins crashed alongside with Bitcoin, not because something fundamentally changed, but because Bitcoin crashed, which means that you've got an overshot to the downside in which altcoins are way further down the line or way further down the equilibrium than what you should be expecting. And some altcoins show you in the past 24 hours what is happening when they bounce up. So the scenario of selling your altcoins to Bitcoin doesn't make sense. It does make sense to actually swap your Bitcoin to altcoins at the low, or use additional liquidity to buy again, because you should be interested in buying in the markets when there's blood, even when the blood's your own. So I posted a tweet a few days ago in which I said, listen, I've bought here cash from my bank account because I was quite out of liquidity personally, so this crash was also surprisingly for me. I didn't expect it. So what are the options when it starts to crash? Not much, especially when you can't even trade on the exchange. But then the CEO of the exchange is going to say, HOLO, yes, no shit, bro, I can't do anything else. But the point here, I used some cash from my bank account, and the amount of hate that I got on that tweet that I bought is literally the confirmation that I've done the right thing. Second, people are expecting to see 25k and have started to sell at 35 to buy back at 25. Those people did not have any interest in selling Bitcoin at 60k, but they want to sell at 35 to buy at 25. And when usually everybody is expecting a certain level to be hit, it doesn't hit that level. Also, finally, I've shown that in the chart yesterday. The ones that have been selling their altcoins and their crypto in the past days and week, and the ones that you hear on social media, are the newcomers into the markets. It's those new short-term traders that have wanted to get into the markets because of FOMO. Those have been selling. The long-term holders have been accumulating. And there's a lesson in there that if you want to become a whale or a long-term holder, you have to swap your entire strategy as well. In which you show that taking profits is very important to do, because these crashes will continuously happen, and they grant you massive opportunities to make more money. So you have to balance your portfolio well. You have to take profits earlier. That's what we do in our platform. So check out the link beneath if you want to become a member. But finally, take fucking profits every time. Don't go all in on your altcoin, just take profits. So if we go to the charts, and I've got one here, which is MATIC, you can see that we've had this massive run up. And I've had an interview at Pound on this day, where the green candle was, with the question whether MATIC was a good entry. Well, I answered, if you are going to ask me that question, it usually is not a good entry point. So that's literally what happened here. But also, when such a vertical line happens, you don't want to get into that position because of FOMO. We've been there with HOLO token, we've been there with DENT, etc. So you're looking at any retest levels, which is this zone and which is the second zone. These two zones are the interesting points here to take an entry on. And if you were patient enough, you were filled. Well, I did not have liquidity, so I'm not filled at all. But if we start to zoom in, we can see that after this crash, there's not really a retest. It just bounces back up with way more than you wanted. It's up 160% from the low. And all the people that have sold in this range do not get a retest at this stage. It just continues to move on back again. So what you want to see right now is that those altcoins bounce back quite swiftly, because that says that the market has seen an outlier to the downside and we're just continuing at this stage. For sure, if MATIC comes back to any of these ranges here, that's fine. That's a higher low. It gives you the additional entry point. But right now, if you've sold your MATIC, you probably feel the FOMO and agree to get back into such a position. While when everything is going down heavily, you should be holding on to it, especially in the cycle that we are in right now. And later in this cycle, probably it's not the best option. And second, if you have liquidity, you should be buying rather than selling. So right now we can see that we're just continuing the momentum, and I generally don't know when MATIC is going to stop, probably around this area, and then we're going to consolidate a little with the entire market. So that's the key point here. If we look at HOLO token, we can also see that we've had a way further down move than what we expected, but we have been clearing or saying these levels at this stage. We've got a bearish retest here. We've got a critical area that we have to break through, so probably we'll be getting something like this. So these are the zones that you want to get an entry into an altcoin. This is not. When everything is in a hype, you want to take profits and you want to move on. So what's next on Bitcoin? I've got a clean chart here. I've actually used that chart yesterday to post anything regarding my idea about the markets. We've got this resistance zone on the 4 hour, but more critically, we've got this range around 43k that we have to break. So probably we'll be having something like this, in which we get anywhere in this resistance area, come back down, make this higher low flip, validates this bullish divergence, another bounce back up, rally towards 48, sideways action, and then continuation. And once that's going to happen, once everybody starts to become calm again, and when Bitcoin makes this run, altcoins are going to continue, and the strategy is unchanged for the coming months. So that's my update. If you want to have a longer update, please subscribe. So I'll be doing it on the live stream tonight. Stay tuned, and I'll be back later today. Have a great day.